That's not a good look for Andy Robertson. They're trying to take him, they're trying to take him out whenever they can, and referees just say, get up.
If Arsenal keep finishing second, yes, it's fantastic, but at some point he's going to be saying to himself, and rightly so,
I need to win.
I need to go and win trophies.
I thought that was fair game. I thought it was a good tackle by Konate.
For me, that was one of the best 45 minutes I've ever seen Thomas Partey play.
You know, an old-fashioned fullback where their first challenge they go boom
Yeah.
on the wide man.
Yeah.
He did that on Luis Diaz.
They made 3 subs yesterday at the same time. They're like bringing on their own version of the bomb squad coming on. And see Gakpo coming up, thinking, oh, crikey.
I just hope and pray they go for Gareth Southgate.
A defiant 2-2 draw for the Arsenal, despite the injury crisis. I'm Talia Lazarus, and this is Inside Gooners. Here to dissect a pulsating game of football are former Premier League goal machine Darren Bent, the Arsenal oracle Clive Palmer, and former Arsenal player and match analyst Adrian Clark. Wow, what a huge game of football last night, Arsenal versus Liverpool. Can I get a temperature check of everyone this morning? Come on, guys, there's just like some awkward smiles.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good game. It was a really good game to watch. It was not tough to watch because it was almost like you're almost waiting, certainly with the injuries, and you're thinking what's happening next. But at the end of the day, it's 2-2 draw is probably the fair result, I'd say. But honestly, it was a hard watch because you were just hoping that everything went to plan. And I'll take the point at the end of the day for sure.
Yeah, there are games at Arsenal, and then there are games, big games, and it felt like a big game. It felt, you know, when you get in there, it was just crackling in there. It was real. There was a little nervousness around because of the consequences if we lost, for example. I felt that sort of underpinned the day, but the excitement when we were on top was really, really good. So I came away disappointed and encouraged at the same time. If that makes sense.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think the first half was outstanding from Arsenal's point of view. I thought it was a really strong, poised, quite mature performance. Much better level-wise than we've been of late. It's just the second half we ran out of gas. And I think by the time the final whistle blew, it was the fair scoreline.
Yeah.
I agree with Clive as well. I definitely felt a mixture of disappointment, but at the same time, you know, optimism. It was quite confusing. Leaving, I felt like we had come from a loss, but obviously we hadn't. And I guess that's where we are at the moment. But then I want to know what your guys' thoughts are about the overall performance.
I thought it was good because, as I said, you looked at the team selection, the injuries, and I know people keep saying all teams have injuries, but at one point yesterday, like our starting back four was not present. Calafiori was injured. Gabriel obviously went off. He'd give it everything. Saliba suspended. Timber then had to go off. So, I mean, I thought Ben White yesterday was a colossus. Brilliant. I thought he was outstanding. I think he has to be in the next England squad. If he's not, then there's a bigger conversation needs to happen, but that's for a later date. But I thought he was outstanding. I thought the team worked really, really hard. And as you said there, I think you feel disappointed because you're thinking, can you hold on? Can you hold on? But and it almost felt like the one moment, I won't say Arsenal switched off, but I think the first time Martinelli didn't help out the fullback, they punished it. But that's why they're a top side, because I thought Martinelli yesterday was outstanding. I thought he caused Trent no end of problems. But I was more impressed when Lewis Skelly came on, how much he helped him, because he got himself back into shape early, so Salah couldn't isolate him 1v1. And the one moment where he ran forward, Trent, so clever, puts in Darwin Nunez, and they're in that side. But I think if you're an Arsenal fan, as Clive said earlier, the optimism has to be there because we were nowhere near at our best in terms of our best players. But to go toe-to-toe with some people thinking are the second best team in the country, you have to take positives from that.
Yeah, you do. Sorry, Hedges.
No, I was going to say, on that goal, the equaliser, Timber had virtually sacrificed himself in possession. He didn't really have much of the ball. He was there to shackle Salah, and he did a really disciplined job. It's the one time, and you're right, Darren, to pick up on it, where Miles Lewis-Skelly doesn't do anything wrong. He joins in with an attack. He feeds Martinelli, does what a normal fullback would do. But he's out of position. When Martinelli loses the ball, he's out of position and Liverpool punished. So when people, and there's a lot of pundits out there last night and this morning saying, why did Arsenal sit on that lead? Why didn't they go for the third goal? That is the exact reason why we didn't go for the third goal too gung-ho, because Liverpool have got the players to really punish you. You needed to keep the back four in place, especially a depleted back four. And the one time we didn't do it, Liverpool hurt us. So that's a choker. It really is for Arsenal.
You can see Arteta was upset about that goal. Because he knows he does not want them running into open spaces. And what do we do? And sometimes when you go to the Emirates, excuse me, when we're attacking, you see Arteta do this, he says, calm, calm. And me and Adrian were talking, we were too aggressive going out to Martinelli, too aggressive going out to him. Once it turns over, we then don't go and counter-press, which gives Trent a chance to get his head up. Well, there are other players I'd like to get their head up rather than him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Because he knows how to kick it, right? So, and he kicks it straight in there. Miles doesn't quite recover. Kiwior gambles a little bit on the through ball, can't get it. And now we're running back. We're running back to dodge. It's just like, it frustrated me because I don't think they were going to score unless we over-attacked. And we did exactly that. And it's just like so frustrating. But my overall feeling is positive because I found a level that we are at. I found almost a team beneath the team. And that's really encouraging. But the negative is a slight tinge of missed opportunity. Slight tinge. Only slight.
It is, and as Clive said, was disappointing because we looked so solid that there was no way I could see Liverpool getting a goal. And to be fair to Martinelli, if you watch when Lewis Skelly come on, every single time the ball's on that side, he sprints back into position and almost allows Skelly to become another centre-half. So he's not 1v1 with Salah, but there's 2v1. And as you said, there's just that one little moment where I think it's a misplaced pass or a bad ball, and Trent is just so clever. I mean, as you said there, Clive, you pretty much want that ball to drop to anyone else but Trent, and he just executes it perfectly well.
I understood why Mikel held off of making more substitutions, and I get it, because he's already been forced into a couple. But I think Martinelli was out of legs, and I think Saka was really sort of running on fumes as well. That change maybe 5 minutes earlier might have made a difference, but we can't look back. I think overall there were more positives than negatives from an Arsenal point of view, and given the back four we had in place for the final section of the game, 2-2 against informed Liverpool is absolutely fine. It's acceptable.
So while we're talking about goals, obviously Arsenal went in the lead with a stunning goal by Bukayo Saka. He was obviously in the press quite a bit last week, and obviously we weren't even sure he was going to play in the game this week. So what are your thoughts on his goal?
Wow, Clive, I'll leave it.
Well, it's sort of one of those goals when he sort of like rips it into the roof of the net. Well, actually, he goes down the line, lovely sort of spin and go long. Ben White clips over the top. And when you do a nutmeg, it's good we do a nutmeg. But when you bounce a nutmeg for a player's legs, right, as a player, that's humiliating because you bounced it almost higher up in his legs. That's not a good look for Andy Robertson. Honestly, it's not a good look. And then he looks at the goalkeeper and just dismisses him into the top corner. Yeah. And funny enough, I was watching the Barcelona game on Saturday night and watching them play, and I just thought, yeah, Yamal's really, really good. And it's almost as if Saka was watching him as well and said, I'm going to stick it in top corner. You know, I just... can't speak highly enough of him, really. And to not see him for a couple of games, for him to come back. He was the skipper, was he, Adrian?
He was the skipper in the game, yeah.
And he didn't feel like he was the skipper as well.
He owned Andy Robertson in the first half, didn't he? He absolutely ripped him to pieces. Every time he got the ball, he was too quick, too strong, too good with his decision-making. He was outstanding. You look at the stats in the game, and they're not great. He touched the ball 4 times in the box. He didn't create a chance. He had 2 shots. Yet I felt that in the first half, he was the absolute outstanding player. For me, Saka in that form is absolute world class. You tell me, how many better players are there in his position than Bukayo Saka on the planet? I just don't think there are very many at all. He's absolute top drawer.
Do you know, I think the argument people will say is probably the guy that he's up against in Mo Salah. Because you look at Mo Salah's numbers throughout the last, 6-7 years, I mean, they are astronomical. I mean, that's the only thing Saka can do, I believe, to get to that level is the numbers. If you talk about player for player, I've got no doubt Saka's a better player, as in a footballer than Mo Salah.
But he's reached 50 Premier League goals. Okay, he's one of the youngest players to ever reach 50 Premier League goals. You look at the list of names that have done it quicker than him. They're all strikers, and they're all Premier League greats. And he's not a striker. No. Exactly. There's a lot of assists in there as well. So, I think there's no denying he's special.
Yeah, he's not taken into the fact that he's also a fullback on occasion for us, right?
True.
And so yeah, he's a fully rounded player. I do think I always look at the opposition when he has it and they are rushing over.
Yeah.
They're rushing. Anyone can get there quickly to get around Robertson because they know he can't handle him. They know. And Núñez went through the back of him once, and it's just like they're trying to take him. They're trying to take him out whenever they can. And referees just say, get up. And I give him a chance. Don't give him a card. So, yeah, he is... I think he's starting to grow into his senior role. That's why I asked him was he captain, because he really looked like our leader. He really did. You know, him and Gabriel, we lost him obviously, but he looked so senior. And is he 22, 23? Please stay.
Do you know, it's almost one of them where when he's not there, as you said, you notice it badly because he always wants the ball. He's strong as they come. He'll take the ball and for me, yeah, he is world class. When you look at, like, we look at Andy Robertson as a so-called one of the best left backs about he has been, and rightly so for what he's done for that Liverpool team. I saw Saka yesterday completely, not even a fully fit Saka, completely destroy him. I saw him a couple of years ago. It's Luke Shaw at the Emirates, where we perceive Luke Shaw as one of the best left backs. Absolutely destroy him. Whoever he's up against, he completely dismantles them. We've seen him for England for the last 3 years, be England's best player for, 2-3 years probably. I know he hasn't won it this year, but I think he won it previously 2 years in a row. I think there's no telling where he can go in his career. Now, I know he loves Arsenal. He's Arsenal through and through. But I just hope that the club match his ambition and they keep growing together. That's going to be my only concern because there's him, there's Saliba, there's probably a couple others where if Arsenal keep finishing second, yes, it's fantastic, but at some point he's going to be saying to himself, and rightly so,
I need to win.
I need to go and win trophies. My career and my ability are too good to have nothing to show for it. So at some point, I know, has he got an FA Cup, Clive? Would he have been in that squad?
He was in the squad. He didn't get on, did he, Adrian? He didn't get on.
I remember he was part of the squad.
Yeah.
He was on the bench, I think.
But I think right now is his time to kind of, let's go and win some trophies. But right now, while Arsenal have got him, it's an absolute pleasure to watch because I feel that there's no fullback in world football that can stop him. When he shows that type of ability like he showed yesterday, it doesn't really matter. And I think one thing, you guys obviously watch Arsenal all the time, is his ability to go either way. I think some left footers want to cut inside, chop back and cross it. He's now happy to go chop back onto the right and just smash it across. And for me, he's one of the best in the world for sure.
Well, he showed us exactly why we missed him and why we need him. He came back last night with an absolute bang. So anyway, now let's get the Liverpool perspective. Joining us now is Liverpool fan and content creator, Jamie Story. Hello, Jamie.
Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for having me back on.
So, Jamie, I have to say, you were very, very confident last week. I just have to say it. You were very confident, so, we can see what happened. So, are you happy with the result?
Yeah, I think I'd probably say a draw was a fair result on the way things went. I thought Arsenal in the first half were pretty dominant. They were moving the ball well. I think you were obviously talking about Saka there. And I said pre-match that he was going to be the danger man, the one man I didn't want to play. And we've seen exactly why he took his goal really well. But I think second half, Liverpool grew into it. They started to get a little more on the ball. I thought they looked calm in terms of they felt that they had the ability to go on and get that goal, even though they weren't playing that well. So I think on the whole, a draw was a fair result, even though I probably would have preferred to win.
I mean, like I said, you were very, very confident. We did ask you last week what you thought, how you thought it was going to go.
Good thing Joel's not on.
Yeah, you are very right. So I'm going to start with Clive. Do you have a question for Jamie?
Yeah, I just wonder what your impressions of Arsenal were, because obviously you haven't really seen much of us, like we haven't seen much of you, but I thought, particularly in midfield, I thought we did quite well in there. And I wonder what impression you walked away with. Even though we weren't at our full strength, you can still get a feeling of what type of team that you're up against.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it doesn't really matter in terms of the players that were missing. You knew that going to the Emirates, it was always going to be a tough place to go. I don't think Liverpool have been particularly good there. It's not been a very favourable ground to us. I know we won there last year in the FA Cup, but even that game could have been 2 or 3 goals to Arsenal if they had been clinical that day. But I was really impressed by Arsenal in the first half. I think second half, maybe the injuries to Gabriel, Timber, I thought 2 of them were excellent in the first half. And then Liverpool, with the experience that they have, were able to maybe get a bit more of a foothold in the game. But the intensity that they played at in the first half, Arsenal, the way they were moving the ball, Saka on that side, I think Darren said it there, that Liverpool were trying to double up a lot on that side to help Robertson out. And I thought Arsenal were definitely in the game. I know there was talk of, like, say, Carragher maybe saying post-match about the Mourinho style of football, but I think you have to deal with the situations the way they come. And I think if you take Van Dijk, Konate, Robertson, even Trent out of that team, the way the team set up in the end, I think we would have struggled as well, and we probably would have sat in. So very impressed by Arsenal. I think a draw, as I said, was a fair result in the end, but I think we'll both take a point and we'll move on to see where we go come the end of the season.
Jamie, I've got to ask you about the Trent situation. He showed yesterday why he's probably one of the best fullbacks in the league, if not the world, with that pass, that set up, the equaliser. Yeah. But are you a little bit concerned about the whole contract situation and that he's only got a few months left on his contract?
Yeah, 100%. It's a weird situation. I think Verge and Salah seem a lot more likely to sign, but I think Trent is probably the one that we need to sign the most because of his age. And his ability showed yesterday. I thought on the ball, he wasn't actually at his best. Defensively, he was okay. Martinelli and Saka were obviously going to get opportunities because of the quality that they have, and Konate had to help him out once or twice. But on the ball, I thought he was poor, other than the corner which he swung in for the first goal, and then setting up the second for Nunes to obviously get the assist. But it is a worrying situation. I think the longer Liverpool leave it, the harder it's going to be able to convince him to sign, and there's going to be a lot more anxiety around it. So it is a worrying situation at the minute, but hopefully Liverpool can get the three of them to sign, because they're obviously huge players for now and the future.
Jamie, I don't want to go down this route, but there were two big decisions, 50-50 decisions that didn't go Arsenal's way in this game. If you can take your Liverpool specs off for a moment or two, what was your honest take, first around the penalty that Liverpool kind of got away with, and then that disallowed goal at the end?
The Konate tackle, was it?
Yeah, well, it was a Trent Alexander-Arnold Konate sandwich, wasn't it? That sort of failed Martinelli.
No, I thought that was fair game. I thought it was a good tackle by Konate. I understand why they were maybe appealing for it, but I thought he got all the ball, and I don't think it was a penalty.
What about Trent?
It would have been soft.
Did you think Trent got any of the ball?
No. That was more coming together. Konate got to the ball first, and then they kind of sandwiched in between. It would have been a very, very soft penalty to give away.
And what about the incident at the end there, where the referee appears to sort of half change his mind about giving the free kick, and then just as Havertz is about to score, then blows up? There must be a part of you as a Liverpool fan that thinks you got away with that.
Yeah, I thought when I was watching the game, I didn't actually realise the ref had given a foul. And yeah, I thought when Konate missed the jump, and then obviously Havertz rounded him, I thought Liverpool might have got away with that one. But I could see why the referee gave it, but sometimes you just need those decisions. So I'll take it as a Liverpool fan.
So, Jamie, there is breaking news that apparently Erik ten Hag has been sacked. What are your thoughts on that as a Liverpool fan?
Yeah, huge news. But I think it was more a case of when rather than if. The performances haven't been good enough. I think the players probably let them down yesterday, and they created so many chances. Obviously, the Dalot miss with an open goal, and I think they probably would have went on to win the game if they had have maybe taken their chances in the first half. But I think the performances have just been on a landslide as of recently, and I think him winning the FA Cup was probably the worst thing to happen to United, because then they said they maybe wanted to give him a chance. But we've all seen the levels that United have been playing to the last few years, the last year or so, and then especially taken into this season, just hasn't been good enough for a club the size of United. But now it's a big job for whoever wants to come in. I think Tuchel is probably the best man, and he's obviously gone with England now. So Ineos have a job in their hands to salvage the season, because they probably should have replaced him in the summer if they were going to do it at any point. So as a Liverpool fan, seeing United in turmoil is good, but yeah, we'll take it and we'll move on.
Well, back to Arsenal-Liverpool. I have to say commiserations to you that you couldn't come on gloating like you were at the end of last week. So, but you know what I'm going to say? Good luck for the rest of the season. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been amazing to talk to you, and we'll see you for the return game at Anfield in May.
We will indeed. Best of luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully we'll have a title game come the end of the season. See you guys.
Cheers, Jamie.
Thank you. You're better than I am, because I would have never wished him good luck.
Yeah, but it's like small good luck. It's not real good luck. It's.
Am I the only one that's devastated that they've sacked Ten Hag?
Me too.
Yeah. The longer that went on.
We are going to get to that later. We are going to talk about that later.
That just happened?
Yeah, apparently so.
So
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
know. I could see you guys out the
None of us
corner of
is,
my eyes. But
yeah.
we're going to quickly talk about the referees with the Arsenal-Liverpool game, seeing as we're on this at the moment. So obviously, disallowed Havertz's goal. Should have had a corner at the end. Should Van Dijk have been sent off? Well, what are your thoughts on this?
The corner one, you get that. I've not got no issue with that because I understand VAR can't intervene with that, and that's one of those things where the linesman should just be doing his job. The disallowed one, I couldn't get my head around. I've watched it so many times. I'm trying to find something as to the reason why he blew it for a foul in the first place. I mean, was it off the arm? Because there was certainly not a foul in there.
No, I think he thought there was a foul. I think he thought that he fouled Szoboszlai, but I didn't see it myself.
No.
I think it's one of those. It's 25% a foul. Like you could see it that way, but it's certainly, it's an unfortunate decision. It's another sort of piece of bad fortune for Arsenal. What really irked me was that he hesitated to blow, and he didn't blow until he saw Havertz was about to score, and I don't understand why he did that. And that is a bad look.
Yeah.
And that's only going to, fuel, fan the flames really in terms of the injustice that Arsenal fans feel. I can accept it because it might have been a free kick, but I think we were very unlucky.
Yeah, by blowing early, VAR can't get involved. So just let it go, and then they can have a close look at it. But he didn't want that. He obviously wanted to stop that process by taking control of the moment. And I thought he lacked courage in the game. The corner at the end, he just didn't want to give a corner. And you knew as soon as the goal kick was taken, he was going to blow up. He didn't want the controversy. I felt we'll always argue about decisions, we always will. But I felt he lacked real strength and an understanding of the game. There were so many aerial challenges in that game where I felt that the Arsenal player who was dominant position to win it were being affected in the air. And what that does, that affects the second ball. The second ball is a big part of the game. That controls momentum, controls flow, controls your territory on the pitch. If you have an understanding of the game, just because someone wins it, if they're being affected, that means you're creating a problem. You have no understanding of football. And that really worries me because all of us watching understand the game. We know what's happening here. We know the importance of second balls. Look at our two midfielders. They're bought for second balls, Marino and Rice. They are hoovers. So it's very important. I think he showed a lack of courage, a lack of football understanding, particularly in the contact situations. So.
It's a strong one to say. If VAR could have got involved, what do you think would have happened?
With the disallowed goal?
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say is that right at the end of that goal, I think someone gets thrown into the net when Gabriel Jesus. So that would have been a foul, of course, because that is a foul. I think it's is it Trent or Robinson gets a completely throw. I think Gabriel Jesus just throws him in, so that would have been a foul. But allow it to get to that point, let it breathe. I think before, it was a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember what the game was, the referee just blew way too quickly and it completely stopped another team scoring. But if you're unsure, which I think it was, because no one can look at that incident and go, that's 100% a foul. If anything, you're looking for it, where can I give a foul? Just let it play out. And if the worst comes to the worst, it goes to VAR, then you review it. But to blow up so quickly, I just thought, come on, Anthony Taylor, understand the game, the context of the game, the surroundings, what it means for both teams. Just kind of let it breathe. You don't have to have that main character syndrome. It's not all about you, that particular game. And if you look at other European referees, they are so good because they go under the radar. You don't even know that they're there. But our referees all of a sudden have to do something in every single game where we're always talking about them. Whereas you watch Champions League football, Europa League football, even Conference League football, you don't even need a ref because the ref gives the decision, you get on with it. But we sit here and have the same conversation every single week.
Do you think we are too familiar with these referees? Because we know them so well now, and they know the players so well, and they take almost narratives from the media, etc., on certain players and certain clubs. They referee certain clubs differently because of things that are around them, surrounding them. I feel so familiar with these referees. And when I watched a Shakhtar game in a week, I just watched it. It was easy.
You dread watching matches, and for fear of a bad decision ruining it. That's how I feel this season, and I don't get that with the Champions League. I think the time has come for maybe the Premier League to look outside the UK and to bring in the best referees on the planet. It's supposed to be the biggest and the best league. We don't have the best officials, unfortunately.
But you know what as well, Adrian, if they, I'm guessing English referees will probably get the ump with that, will be better at your job then.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree with you because it sounds simple, but we see the Premier League as the best product in world football. Everyone's trying to catch up to the Premier League. we haven't got the best officials.
We haven't.
Now, Howard Webb is at the top of that. Surely he can understand. He comes on every single week talking about, we should have given this decision. That club gets an apology. If that's the case, then you go, do you know what? We've tried it. We've got the best products, but it's not matching up. So let's get some of these. We've got deep pockets, the Premier League. Bring some of these European officiators over to the Premier League. And then hopefully that lifts the standards of the English referees. Because at the minute, it's not happening. It's not working.
We're joking about Ten Hag today, and he was probably going to lose his job anyway. I wish we'd have played him before he did lose his job. But, you know, that penalty that they conceded yesterday, Manchester United, was a joke.
Yeah. And
this is serious. That ruins the afternoon for tens of millions of people. That changed the course of that game completely. And Man United have missed chances. Yes, they should have took those chances. But they weren't losing that game until that moment happened. And he's lost his job this morning. I'm not saying it's down to that because he's done plenty, but that's how important these moments are. And the best referee, Michael Oliver, air quotes, was on VAR for that game. And so, where do we go? Where do we go?
Yeah, you're right. Where do we go? But so let's move on to the lineup. 4:15, the lineup drops. How were you feeling, Clive, when you saw that happen? Because obviously there was a lot of talk last week about who was going to be in it.
Yeah, well, I'm on this thing called Twitter, right? And on Twitter...
Really? What's that?
we can see...
It doesn't exist anymore, does it?
And,
It doesn't.
we can see the players walking around in their hoodies trying to hide, but they can't hide from us. So we had a good feeling that Saka and Timber would be available. And so that sort of picked it. I wasn't sure how we were going to line up totally. I wasn't sure if Tim was going to play centre-back or left-back, but left-back was the right decision. And Ben White rolled inside and was superb. So, but I will say that having names on team sheets is one thing, but when they've done 20 minutes of training and their legs go stiff towards the end of the game and rigor mortis sets in, then you know you have a problem, you know, and that's what seemed to happen with our game.
Yeah, look, the fatigue, I think, hurt us in the game. I like the team. It was the right team to select. Unfortunately, obviously, with the injuries to Gabriel and Timber, we were weakened again. I just felt there were too many players on the pitch that either had too much football or not enough football. And we were, you know, really struggling, I think, fitness-wise towards the end of that game. Running-wise, wait for this number, by the way. We ran 6.5 kilometres further than Liverpool in that match. So Arsenal are incredibly industrious. Arsenal are a really hard-working team with the ball and without it. There isn't a front two that graft harder than Havertz and Trossard. Numbers-wise, there isn't. In terms of the distance they cover, the intensive runs, the sprints, they really work their socks off. And it's what makes Arsenal so hard, you know, such a hard team to beat. But I felt like it impacted us in that second half, and it stopped us, or it made it much more difficult for us to get out of our own half when Liverpool pinned us in, and that was a problem.
Do you know, it surprised me. I know it ended up 2-2, but it surprised me that Liverpool didn't sense that and really go for it, because there's not too many times I really thought they put us under pressure, knowing that we probably were fatigued, we were on our last legs. They didn't really put their foot down and really go and try and win the game, which surprised me. I mean, listen, it's a positive for Arsenal, but yeah, I think fatigue towards the end definitely set in, but I think they did a good job. It'd be interesting to see what he does next, though, with the team, because obviously how bad Gabriel's is, how Timber obviously went off, Saka with the minutes that he played. Team selection in the next game will be interesting to see. But Ben White, as you said there, I thought was, wow, incredible.
And Thomas Partey, by the way. How good was he at right back?
Yeah.
I mean, in that first half, for me, that was one of the best 45 minutes I've ever seen Thomas Partey play. And he was at right back.
Yeah.
You know, I thought he did a brilliant job, really aggressive on Luis Diaz. He came in and inverted as the right central midfielder, because we know that Mourinho he's very left-sided, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he shifts over. Rice has to be more central then, and it means that I think moving forwards, it's going to be the right back rather than the left back that comes in field.
Yeah, of course.
And I thought he did that job very, very well.
Yeah, I think Thomas Partey, there were periods I thought he was our best right back, and I thought he was the best midfielder. and so yeah, he's doing very well at the moment. And against a winger that's really informed, that's really quick. And if we're honest, we thought, how would he do? You know, and they were trying to drop the ball over his head continuously, wouldn't they? Diags into that side, and he was dealing with most of them. And so yeah, I thought he had a great performance. I think midfield-wise, we're starting to see a new balance appear, with Declan Rice playing where he did. I thought he grew into it again. I thought he got better. I thought Marina got better as the game went on. And so we found something there, you know. although we lost a couple of people and we got people that were half fit, we found Marino, the 90-minute player, who hasn't done one since I don't know when. You know, so that's good going forward. But yeah, on the day, I still got this little pan of regret. But I will be honest and say, when I looked at the team at the end, I thought, okay, can we get out of here? Can we get out of here? Can we get out of here in one piece? And that was it.
Do you know what? You see with the Thomas Partey one as well, it was an old-fashioned fullback where their first challenge, they go, boom, on the wide man.
Yeah.
He did that on Luis Diaz, and it's almost like Luis Diaz went, do you know what? I don't think I want this anymore. No. Then they started putting the ball over the top because, of course, Partey's not the quickest. But I thought, and that's when I took him off. Because I think after a while, he just couldn't get no change out of Thomas Partey. And that was one area I thought, oh no. Me and my mates were texting the group saying, Partey at right back, they just put, oh no, because that's not his best position. But I thought he was outstanding yesterday, Thomas Partey, as Clive was saying there. When he dropped into midfield, there's still a couple of times where you go, where they're trying to play between the lines and keep it. But yeah, I thought he was exceptional yesterday for real.
So we've also been mentioning Declan Rice just now. Do we think this was quite possibly his best game of the season so far?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I thought that was his best performance of the season. I've been a little bit disappointed with Declan Rice's form this season. I don't think he's been bad by any stretch of the imagination. He's been okay. And I think that most of us would have expected him to maybe accelerate his own development under Mikel Arteta a little bit quicker. Because I think there's a big ceiling for Declan Rice. It might be that he's been not settled into one position. He's having to play holding midfielder one day, then it's a box-to-box the next. I thought he was really calm, and I think that he had a presence about him in this game. He was up against guys like McAllister and Gravenberch. Gravenberch's been one of the best midfielders in the division this season, and he owned him. Our midfield too were considerably stronger, I thought, than Liverpool. So it bodes well, I think, moving forwards. And what about the delivery for the goal? Declan Rice's delivery, that was one of the crosses of the season. You will not find a better set-piece cross all season. It was absolute perfection in terms of the trajectory, the pace, the whip on it. All I'll say is that it wasn't perfect for Marino, because Marino had to stoop. That's the only sort of reason why I'd say it's not a 10 out of 10. It's maybe a 9.8 because he's had to stoop for the header. But it was absolutely unplayable, that ball, and it wasn't the only one that he delivered.
Yeah, what I like about Rice is he turns up in adversity. So like at Bournemouth, when we went down to 10, I thought he had a really strong period in that period. When the games are easy, I think he just goes through it a little bit. Yeah. And but when it gets hard and he needs to turn up, that's when I think he's at his best. He needs to be stretched and pulled around and really have a proper opponent against him. Then he says, no, this is my area, and he takes it. And I was impressed with all three of those players, Marino, Rice and Partey. I thought we stood up Liverpool in an area when I thought we might have a bit of trouble. Based on all the things I'd read and seen, I thought, oh, how are we going to do? But I thought we owned it. I thought we did.
So then let's talk a little bit more about Liverpool. What did we learn from them? Do we think that they have a shot in the title run?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've got such quality in their squad, haven't they? I mean, you look at Salah, obviously gets his goal. Van Dijk at the back, who's still one of the best centre-backs in world football. Alisson to come back, I know he's not there right now, but I still think, yeah, they're going to be there or thereabouts. I do think their start to the season, I wouldn't say it's sugar-coated, but they wasn't really tested, were they? I mean, everyone was getting a little bit carried away. I thought they'd be good and I thought they'd be challenging because simply for the fact Arne Slot's come in and they've got very good players. I mean, that's the first thing. If you want a successful team, you need good players. But I do think they hadn't really been tested yet. The Chelsea game, was probably their first proper test, you'd say. But I do think come there or thereabouts, they're still impressive. They've still got goals in their team. They've got creativity. They can be solid if they need to be. They've still got two outstanding fullbacks. So they'll be in the mix for sure. But I just think people did get a little bit carried away at the very start.
Yeah, I think they've developed gears in their game. Yeah. They used to be quick. Yep. Now they're slowed down a little bit in their build-up. So they got gears in what they're doing. I do think, though, their fullbacks are going to give people something. You know, Robertson is not the player he used to be. And Trent, whatever you say, for his ability, he'll give you something on that side if the player is good enough to accept it. Midfield, they got loads. I mean, they made 3 subs yesterday at the same time. They're like bringing on their own version of the bomb squad coming on. And see Gakpo coming on, thinking, oh, crikey. You know, and so they've got top players they can bring on, and they're healthy. You know, and this is my little bit of regret. I thought, if we had our best team, we take these. I didn't think they were away from us.
No.
We take these, honestly.
I thought Arsenal were a level above Liverpool last season, and that level has maybe shrunk a little bit, but that's partly because Arsenal have been decimated by injuries and a little bit of bad fortune. Liverpool have had quite an easy start fixture-wise. I was impressed with them in the second half because they didn't panic, they were strong, and they did deserve their equaliser, in my opinion. But over the course of this season, based on what I saw of them in this game, I still think it'll be City or Arsenal that go for the title. I think they're the third best team.
Do you know what? They missed Diogo Jota. And he was the one player I was like, thank goodness he's not playing, because obviously his record against Arsenal was exceptional. But I think that centre-forward situation for Liverpool, if he's not there, I'm quite happy if Darwin Núñez is playing, because, yes, he's all chaos, but he doesn't really worry me. Whereas someone like a Diogo Jota, I just think you give him any type of opportunity, left foot, right foot, obviously in the air, I think he would just score. He's such a good finisher, such a cultured footballer as well. So maybe that's one area. If he doesn't come back, they may be weaker, but still, Salah, Gakpo, as you said there, Luis Diaz, they've got more than enough firepower to be up there or thereabouts when it comes to the title.
It's like Adrian mentioned, our injuries. Oh, our injuries. So we finished the game with a makeshift back four. Does it prove then that the squad depth is there?
I don't know. I think none of us would have guessed that back four, would we, 2 weeks ago? And that ended the game. And it does a few concerns for Zinchenko, maybe, why he didn't get that chance to come on. Just my own personal opinion is he's an experienced player, and this is a big 6 game, and I'm wondering why. Maybe he's not as fit as what we think. Kivior is okay in patches, but a little bit patchy for me. When to be aggressive, when not to be aggressive. I think he's getting that a little bit wrong. Losing Gabriel was just a major blow for us. Such a major blow at that time. And I felt the air came out of the building a little bit when he went.
The whole team was around him.
Yeah.
You know, gather around. You're right. You could see that they were really worried, and I definitely think it had an impact.
It had an impact on us. It made us just stand for a bit and have a look at the game, and that encouraged Liverpool into our territory. And so, we found Ben White as a centre-back. We haven't seen him for a couple of years there, and we've obviously found young man Thomas Partey at right-back, right? And so, we're finding things, but I wouldn't mind seeing the Saliba and Gabriel back together again. I can't wait.
Well, tell me a team in the Premier League that wouldn't suffer if they had 4 of their best 5 defenders unavailable. And I think they did pretty well up against a really good Liverpool attack. It was a brilliantly constructed goal, remember? Yeah. The run from Salah, the choice from Núñez, the pass from Alexander-Arnold. That would have undone most defences, So we didn't, beat ourselves up too much. I think the strength of depth is fine. It's just that having cluster injuries in one area of the pitch would destroy most teams. And it hasn't destroyed Arsenal. That's the positive we have to take. Look at the league table, look where we're at. I'm happy, even because I know that once that they're all fit and available, we can take it to the next level.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think moving forward, I think this kind of process, this game against Liverpool will help, obviously, long-term. I think, of course, you want all your best defenders back at one point, but at least we've seen it now. Arsenal be absolutely decimated, and they put in a really positive performance. And you're talking about over the course of 90 minutes, one momentary lapse in concentration, potentially, and we get punished. Not every team's got a Salah or a Trent that can pass the ball, Darwin Núñez. So if you're from an Arsenal perspective, you have to go, yes, you don't want to concede, but look at the quality of goals. So I think moving forward, I'm positive. Yes, I want those guys to come back as quick as possible, but I don't think there's a real rush to go, we need these guys back now. It's not panicking now, whereas at one stage, you're like, what do we do now? I think we've seen it, and you kind of go, right, at least it gives us a little bit of breathing space. So that's probably the big positive.
So, Romario Webster was at the game. Here's what the Arsenal fans made of it all.
Yes, Romario Webster here. I'm outside the Emirates for Inside Gooners. Arsenal 2, Liverpool 2. What a game. Tough for Arsenal to take. Let's see what the fans thought about that result. I'm joined by Sonny. That Mo Salah goal, how did that feel, man? Must have hurt.
Mate, it felt terrible. We got done on the counter. I slightly feel a bit robbed. I ain't seen when we scored and it got disallowed, brought back. I ain't seen that, but I just feel like we got robbed a little bit. We was 2-1 for a long period of the game, but we went too defensive too early, I feel. We should have come out and just went for them,
Really hard to take, played really well, got a few injuries, so really hard to take. A few injuries came off as well. We haven't got a first 11, we're playing one of the team that's top of the table, so really difficult to take. Absolutely gutted. Feel that we were robbed at the end with the Havertz goal. All the players thought it was a goal. The whole crowd thought it was a goal. Just the ref.
Gabriel and Timber went off with injuries. How worried are you about Arsenal's defence?
I think Saliba's coming back, that's fine. Ben White looks solid in centre-back, which is pretty good. That's all right. Calafiori comes back, that's all right. I'm not too worried.
It's always tough when your first-team players are not playing. Obviously, we're missing Saliba today, but Saliba and Gabriel, great centre-half pairing. They have been for, over 18 months now. So, yeah, when your first-team players are missing, you're always going to struggle. And in this league, you've got to be 100% every game, in my opinion. So Gabriel, played, come off. We're missing our first choice defence now, so it's going to be tough.
What it is we're playing too defensively, so we're putting so much pressure on our defence all the time. That's why we're getting red cards, yellow cards, injuries. But yeah, mate, we was playing against Liverpool. Look at the back four we finished with against Liverpool, like unbelievable.
Newcastle away on Saturday. That'll be interesting. Hopefully we can, other players step up.
Despite the injuries, though, you're seeming optimistic, you're seeming confident. Do you think Arsenal can still win the league?
We will win the league. We have to win the league. It's been too long now, man. I started supporting this club right after the Invincibles in 20 years. We got to win the league, man.
Yeah, we just need 95% of the players to stay fit, and I think, yeah, why not? We're still in it now. I don't think we've actually got out of first gear yet at all. So yeah, lots more to come from this Arsenal team. But the crowd have got to get behind them. These guys have got to get behind them as well, because I think the barrier's been set high. But I think they still need to support them.
Nah, I think City will win the league this year, to be fair. If I'm being really honest. Unless we sign someone in January, like
what position?
Just a prolific centre forward. I think we see it again today. There was moments where Havertz weren't really getting in the 6-yard box or in the centre of the goal. He was like drifting out, and also we need Ødegaard back. If we get Ødegaard back and we still fill that position in Jan, then we might be okay. Even if Ødegaard comes back and our injuries are all right, we might be okay. But so far, we've been quite unlucky with the sending offs, the referee decisions, and our injuries. If it carries on like this in that same vein, we ain't going to win, bruv.
So plenty of fans keeping the faith in this Arsenal team. So now let's step away from Arsenal for a second. As we heard earlier that Erik ten Hag has been sacked by Manchester United. This is huge news. Devastating. Straight out there. I mean, had I even finished my sentence?
I wanted to go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe it. Yeah, no, he was having a nightmare, wasn't he? And obviously the king of the excuses after the game. It was just making things worse and worse at United. Now, the longer he stayed there, the worse they would have got. So they've made the right call. But yeah, for the rest of the division, it's disappointing news.
Do you know what? He'll leave Manchester United though today. And he'll look back at his tenure, and he'll say, well, I did well. Because he'll say 2 trophies in 2.
Yep.
Now, you can't judge progression by trophies. I've always said that. Now, them finishing 8th last season was nowhere near good enough. I think they're currently 14th this season, so clearly they're going backwards. But on his CV, wherever he goes next, because he'll get another job, he'll go, I went to Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and I produced 2 trophies in 2 years. He'll be back in work within no time. I've got no doubts about that whatsoever.
He's typing out the CV. Thinking, with his new money in his back pocket.
The 2 managers that were in the technical area at Emirates Stadium, Mikel Arteta and Arne Slot, they've embarrassed Erik ten Hag, really.
Yeah.
But look at what Arne Slot has done to Liverpool in the time. He's put his own imprint on that team immediately, and he's made them better immediately. And Mikel Arteta, okay, he's had a longer period of time, but it's been consistently upward trajectory in terms of performance levels, in terms of the identity of the team. Erik ten Hag didn't come close to creating an identity, and that's what he'll be most upset about if he was honest with himself looking at the tenure.
I think, joking aside, he hasn't quite got the aura and the presence on that sideline to affect the other top managers, and that's an issue. Man United blew it with Tuchel. They should have gone for him quickly. That's a sort of quality of person and coach that you need at that club, right? This is a massive club. You need to manage many different aspects of the club. Well, they have got about 4,000 executives, but you still need to manage a huge club and a huge fan base. You have to stand there every week, and you have to bring people with you on that journey and have a vision. I don't see that with him. I don't see a vision that's consistent. I don't see a belief structure around him where people want to follow him. And so this was inevitable, and it should have happened in the summer. Now I'm hearing about, is it Xavi they're looking at? Xavi Hernandez? I'm not sure, to be honest. But they missed the guy. He's at the FA now. That's the guy they should have gone for.
Do you know also as well, and Adrian, you just said it earlier about identity. You look at what Arsenal done with Arteta. You look at what, who's the other club you just mentioned there? You just said Liverpool, Arne Slot, right?
Yep.
I guess the biggest one as well was Unai Emery, because he's changed his overnight.
Yeah.
Like, because you're talking about Steven Gerrard gets the sack. His very first game was against Manchester United, where they dominated and they look completely different. Look where they are now. If Manchester United are looking at that, they're thinking, I know Unai Emery is not leaving Aston Villa to go to Manchester United right now, but that's one where you go, look at what they're doing, Aston Villa, and they're supposed to be not in the same stratosphere in terms of size of club.
Maresca's
another
done
one.
at Chelsea. You know, so-called impossible job. And he's found very quickly a new identity, and the players are buying into it. I think Iraola at Bournemouth is one to keep your eye on. You know, I don't know whether he's got that aura yet that he could make that step up, but coach for coach, you know, he's someone that would bring in a very clear identity to Manchester United, and one that they need. So, look, they'll appoint someone decent. I mean, I just, from an Arsenal point of view, I just hope and pray they go for Gareth Southgate.
Well, they may do. They may do. Because he is somebody that has a vision. I'm just not sure about the coaching aspects, right? So, but he does have a vision. So
Ruud van Nistelrooy has been appointed the interim manager.
Surprising.
While we were all, figuring out who it was. And he will be our manager, their manager in December for the Arsenal United game. How do we feel about that?
Well, do you know what? It's almost like, when you looked at him coming in, I did think, something just doesn't, not sit right with me, but I looked at Van Nistelrooy as a Manchester United legend, what a centre-forward he was. He's been a manager before. It just felt to me like if something was to happen to Ten Hag, because they were openly looking at other options in the summer, and then they landed back to Ten Hag, I guarantee you, if he gets sacked, it was going to be Ruud van Nistelrooy's opportunity to take charge. So it doesn't really surprise me. It almost feels a little bit like Ollie's gone to Solskjaer all over again, where they couldn't find anyone. He got the job, did really well until the end of the season. They gave him the job. I just wonder if Ruud comes in, does really well, wins, I don't know, his next six, obviously not the Arsenal one, but he has a really good period. Do Manchester United make the same mistake again and go, do you know what? The fans are happy with it, we'll give it to Ruud. So it doesn't surprise me that this has happened.
I think it's good for the Arsenal-Manchester United rivalry if he's in place when that fixture comes around, because Ruud van Nistelrooy obviously famously has sort of been a bit of a boo boy for Arsenal supporters. So yeah, let's say bring it on. Who knows how he'll do? Let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance. But yeah, it's. I think he'll be a popular short-term appointment for Manchester United supporters. Personally, I hope they fall into that trap of going with the Manchester United legend rather than the best person for the job.
Yeah, he brought a PSV team to Arsenal, didn't he, a couple of years ago in the Europa League?
Yeah.
And I thought his tactics were quite impressive. And if you separate the player, who I didn't like, and the coach, he's actually okay, you know. So and he has got presence that Manchester United fans will definitely like. So let's see.
So before we finish, we should also mention our upcoming 2 games this week. We're away to Preston on Wednesday. Who's going to play that one?
I hope the under-21s, I hope. That's what I mean.
I'm looking at you.
I'm ready to go.
Me?
But yeah, you'd expect not to play too many. Anyone who's kind of carried a knock or been carrying a knock, I'd completely leave them out of this one. I still think Arsenal have got a good enough squad to be able to get past Preston. And also, Preston have got bigger issues in terms of the Championship table this season as well. So I'd go very light in this one.
Yeah, younger players. I mean, you look forward to seeing Waneri playing the game. I think that'd be exciting, because he's done ever so well coming on in these big, tough games and made good decisions. The same with Miles Lewis-Skelly. So, yeah, those two, looking forward to see them play. It's going to be huge for Zinchenko and Sterling, this game, because if I'm Alexander Zinchenko right now and Raheem Sterling right now, I'm thinking, I'm not having this. Yeah. He's put Sterling... I'm seething if I'm Raheem Sterling. Not because he deserved to come on ahead of Waneri, but Waneri's come on ahead of him. He's been trusted. And Zinchenko has sat there and seen, Lewis-Skelly come on ahead of him. He's embarrassed by that. So I expect those two to be right at it at deep down. And they kind of need to put in big performances just to show the manager that actually you don't need to turn to the kids. We can deliver for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough game, I think. I can't pick the team. No way can I pick it. There's a lot of Arsenal fans going up to that game. A lot of people I know are going. And I think, and so it's going to be. It's a new ground. It's going to be quite interesting evening. So And we'll find something else. We'll find out we found the team below the team against Liverpool. Now we're going to find the team below the team below the team. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do. But we'll have a great squad in a couple of weeks. So, yeah.
Then we obviously have Newcastle on Saturday. So these big games just keep coming in thick and fast. What are we thinking about that one?
It's a test, isn't it? It is a test. I mean, Newcastle at home have a terrific record. You know, they will give anyone. I know they're having a difficult time. They're not winning games, but they have very good forward line. You know, I know Anthony Gordon was missing, wasn't he, for the last match? Let's hope, from an Arsenal point of view, that he's not recovered. That said, Harvey Barnes is a top player, Murphy too. So with Isak up front, so no, I think going forward, Newcastle have got a lot of quality. It's just, I think we can get their back four, but St James's Park is tough. It doesn't matter what sort of form they're in. It's a tough place, and we've had difficult examinations there. So
we are the enemy to them.
Yeah,
they don't like us, and so they're having a bit of a rough time. But you can sometimes Arsenal can recover it for you. Yeah. It's a bit like Spurs going to Palace. Palace were struggling, then Spurs turned up and gave them their first win of the season. I think if they were to beat us, that's all they need to get back on track. So we need to be ultra competitive and aggressive, particularly in midfield with Joe Linton. I think he's a very strong player. Tonali, good player. Bruno's a good player. That three is a decent three, so we have to match them in physicality and really get around them.
We've just talked about it with Rice and Marino and Partey. I think we can match them in there.
We can do, definitely. And it is all about the health of our wide men again against their fullbacks. I think we can definitely take them. They're quite young in fullback areas, so we can definitely take them there.
So on Clive's point, do we owe it to them?
We need to win.
Yeah.
We need to win. I wasn't... Liverpool, given the state of the game, I didn't say we needed to win that game, but we got 3 big away games coming up, and the first one needs to go well. It does. The second one will take care of itself. But the first one creates momentum for the other 2, so it's a very important game.
So after the performance, obviously, last night with Liverpool, how are you feeling then for the Newcastle game?
I'm quite confident.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think when we went up to Newcastle a couple of years ago, when they'd just been taken over, that whole kind of hysteria about the manager and the new owners, and they were going to sign all the best players. I almost feel like that's gone now, and they're almost levelling out now, so we know what Newcastle are about. But I think if the Newcastle players and the supporters had watched Arsenal against Liverpool, they'd go, OK, even when they've been decimated by injuries, they've still found a way to get a result against one of the best teams in the country. So I would be a little bit like, OK, this is a different Arsenal. And then when you start, hopefully some of these players come back from injury and they're not too bad, I'm pretty positive going up there. I think if Arsenal start fast, because that's one thing about playing at St James's Park, you have to start fast, because they come out of the track, it's loud in there, they come out really quick, they put you under pressure, and it could be a long 90 minutes. I think if Arsenal go there, dominate possession, just that calming influence, they could make the game easy for you.
You just sort of took the words out of my mouth. It is taking control of the game.
Yeah,
it's absolutely taking control of the game here. Quieting the crowd, not playing in their half, without obviously leaving ourselves exposed to the pace of Isak, because Newcastle aren't a possession-based team. They'll be quite happy to sit in and break quickly on Arsenal. And, I'm just worried about the personnel that we're going to have available for the game. That's my only fear. I think going forward, we can absolutely create chances against them and potentially win the game. But, yeah, it's a tough test. Clive's bang on. Win that one, and the other games that follow become easier.
But it's a 12:30 kickoff, so it's nice and early. People are still having their breakfast. Do you think it's not going to be obviously as loud under the lights then?
Oh my goodness, have you been there? Honestly,
No, I haven't.
if the game was 3 a.m, it'd be loud. It's so loud in there all the time, and their fans, and fair play to them, they are one of the best fan bases in the country probably. They travel home and away, but at 12:30 early, that means they are right up for it. I mean, spending a bit of time up there myself in that region, it's all about football. That's all they care about.
Yeah, the atmosphere's on, but it was one of my first team games for Arsenal was at St James's Park, and that was the year they almost won the title. As you know, Ladano, it was intimidating. Yeah. It's a really tough place to play. What I will say is that Eddie Howe is under a little bit of pressure at the moment. It's not completely stable, and there are 1 or 2 doubts creeping in. And the team, their confidence might have been knocked by the fact that they haven't picked up wins of late. So it might be a good time for us to go there. If we get that early goal, Newcastle's players might shrink a little bit, and that will only help Arsenal.
Yeah, I'd agree. I was watching their Chelsea game yesterday. They don't look quite as compact as they did, not quite as aggressive to the ball. Chelsea were finding passes through them. And I thought, well, we see defenders running back towards their goal. That's not a good look. So I'm hopeful that we have got the ability to find spaces down the sides and get around them. And so, yeah, it's getting to their back line. But then, as Adrian just said, who's going to be in our back line? I think that's the dilemma. So.
Well, we are yet to find out. And Adrian, it's good memories to you then this weekend, seeing as it was one of your first games at Arsenal, so...
Yeah, no, look, it's a great fixture. It's a great fixture. And Arsenal have had a pretty good record there down the years in recent history. So, yeah, let's hope we can go and deliver a statement win. Clean sheet win, which is what Arteta's Arsenal on the road pick up clean sheet wins. That's what I'm looking for on Saturday lunchtime.
Clean sheet win. Absolutely. Please, Arsenal. So that's all we've got time for this week. A huge thanks to Darren Bent, Clive Palmer and Adrian Clark. We'll see you next week. And remember, trust the process.